Yeah, welcome to a new series, new show, new session today for brand attractiveness for family businesses. And I'm glad to have today the CEO of Cent Marketing Institute, Cent Marketing Company, Cent Marketing, whatever innovation company in the US. It is Caroline Fabrigas. Hello, Caroline.
Good morning from New York. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good morning. So, how it is in the States right now?
Well, I take it day by day. So today the weather is very sunny, which is a good thing because it elevates the mood. Obviously, it's a challenging time. And so having the opportunity to talk about my favorite subject, which is scent marketing, it brings me a great deal of joy. So this is a good day.
This is exactly why we have you here, and I'm so happy to have you on board because all the visitors are keen on knowing more about the thing that is called scent marketing, about fragrances, all that stuff that has mainly to do with you and your, let's say, former life. I would ask you the first question. So just let us know how can we use scent marketing and what has scent in the overall approach to do with, and let's say, an innovation that is not used by so many companies right now?
That's such a great question. And there's so many ways we can use scent marketing in our business and our lives as an influencing factor. So in your business, one of the things that helps us to be successful even during these uncertain times is brand loyalty. The fact that your client wouldn't think to go somewhere else. They're always going to rely on you. So having a signature scent or a scent associated with your brand, your company, your organization, the first thing it does is to give you this recognition and a sense of loyalty, because a scent, when you're in the presence of it, it actually reaches into the depths of the memory. They call it the limbic system. It's where all memories are stored. And so having the right scent can trigger that memory, that pleasant memory. So brand loyalty through pleasant memories is very important. And the other really important point of having scent associated to your business is that it gives you a point of differentiation. So in this age of sameness and me too and very competitive arena that we work in, a scent can give you something ownable and differentiating as well. When we're able to go out in public again in some shape or form, which I believe we all will, there's also the opportunity in the environment to create a sense of wanting to linger longer, wanting to remain. And if you have an environment, a hotel lobby, or you have a shop, or even if you have your own gym, for example, that you're running, all of these places and many more, you'd love to have your guest or your customer stay longer. Maybe they'll be attracted to look at more things. Maybe you'll be able to have more conversation with them. And then there's another point, and the other point is having the right scent associated to your brand. And I say signature because we do a lot of custom work, but we also do curation. We have a wonderful library, and we can pick a scent for you without it having to be custom. Having the right scent associated to your brand can create an incremental revenue stream for you. Because when somebody loves the scent so much, they want to take it home with them, the same way they may want to take the experience of your brand home. And there's where we can come in and help you to create candles, room sprays, reed diffusers. And one of the things I noticed, even in the New York Times this morning, there was an article about fragrance. The rise in home fragrance right now during this time has been incredible. So having a fragrance can not only do all the things I mentioned in terms of business enhancement, it can create a revenue stream as well.
I would say I'm already convinced of that. However, when I, let's say, remember the companies I used to work with, they were more or less focused on either the visual part, so side, yeah, on the one hand side, on the other hand side, maybe something that they can hear, the sound, the audio. So why do you think they do not focus that much on the scent part, which is, as you just mentioned, pretty much deep inside of us and is a very strong sense in the end? So why do you think companies do not focus that much on the scent
Yeah, I
arena?
think, yeah, great question too. I think in traditional advertising, it has always been about the logo, you know, which is super important. It's a great brand identifier. It's always been about the slogan, you know, the communication or
Yeah,
communication, the slogan. It's been about maybe the spokesperson. Maybe it's been about the jingle. So all of these are traditional advertising modalities. And there perhaps wasn't in the past a way to really bring scent because there wasn't a way to diffuse the scent. How would you do it? Could you spray it?
yeah,
You wouldn't want people to feel it on their skin. You wouldn't want people to hear anything. You'd want it to be super subtle, not overbearing. And so I think for a long time, maybe there was interest, but there was no way to deliver scent. And perhaps there wasn't the understanding years ago of the power of scent, because it's not something you can see or something you can touch. But over time, people have begun to understand the power of the limbic system and the impact of scent on our emotions and our ability to feel emotion. And you can go all the way back to the baby that's born and seeks out the sweetness of the mother's milk. And that's how they bond. And that's as instinctual as scent can be. So fast forwarding, people have begun to understand the power and the impact of scent through those studies.
yeah.
And now we have a way that people can receive the scent in an ambient way through scent diffusion, through cold mist diffusion, which is invisible, relatively silent, and it's not something you can see or you can touch, but yet you are embraced, engulfed with this amazing atmosphere that just makes you feel something. Whatever it is the brand wants to communicate, you can have that person feel that through the scent.
So when I smell something, I would say it is pretty much about taste on the one hand side. On the other hand side, it is about experience. So what kind of experience have I made in the past, so that I either remembering it in a positive way or in a maybe negative way. And it's called, you know, if you can smell someone, you either like him or you don't love him, you know. So depending on his smell in that phase. So how do you deal with that kind of, let's say, taste, when it not comes just down to taste, that someone loves it and someone hates it? So how do you find, let's say, the balance between, okay, there's just a matter of taste, or it is proven that most of the people probably will like that kind of taste? How does it, sorry, taste, that kind of smell? How does it work?
So the work that we're engaged in is really creating scent that's right for the brand and for the environment. And the same way when you walk into, let's say, a restaurant,
Yeah,
and you haven't even seen the menu yet, and you haven't been there before, you haven't tasted anything, but the decor pulls you in, the light, the background music, the color, the way the furniture is situated. All of these things are sensory cues, and they make you feel that you're in the right place because someone has put a great deal of time and effort into studying the brand and what that brand wants to communicate. And so you don't look at the individual chair and say, I sort of don't like that chair, or I do like that chair. You know, you go in and you're in an experience, you're in an environment, and you just feel good in that environment. Well, scent is exactly that. Scent is actually one part of that experience. Scent, or scent marketing, doesn't live alone. Scent actually sort of enhances all of that. I like to say that scent is the background, or the canvas against which all of that plays. So the work that we're doing is not arbitrary.
yeah,
The work that we're doing is crafted, and the scents that we're either creating from scratch, the custom scents, or the ones that we curate. We find them for our clients, we identify them, and we align them. It's all very scientific, And we use screening processes. We use a proprietary system that I've created to be able to analyze brands and to decipher them through the olfactory lens. And we also work with this amazing, really global fragrance house that has a sensory tool that's also able to check against a database of thousands and thousands of individuals over, many, many, many years who have input to how different emotions, different colors, different textures actually smell. So we draw upon this incredible body of research to create just the right scent for the environment. So you don't think actually, what's that smell? And you don't think, oh, that's, blackberries or something. You don't think about it at all. You actually just are in it, and you are enjoying it, and you're immersed in it, and it's just part of the overall experience. And it creates this complete impression that, if you do it right, becomes indelible. And then the person wants more and more and more of it.
Yeah. So would you say they are depending on that in the end? Because, we talk about brand identification, so that I identify me, myself, and I with something that I can remember in a positive way. For instance, when we talk about the first brand, I do remember from the time that we thought about, let's say, multisensory senses to use. For instance, this was Sri Lanka Airlines. They were one of the companies who have used a scent in an airplane, so that either the stewardesses could use it as a fragrance stuff, or it has been in the cabin. So, but this was a time 10 years ago. So can small companies also today afford using their own scent in their marketing strategy?
Absolutely. That is something that I'm very passionate about, because in the beginning, the business that I own and run was very much based upon the large corporations. For example, Hyatt Hotels is one of our clients. And I've really wanted to make the kind of commercial grade scent marketing that we do with the large corporations available to everybody who has an establishment or a business, or even in the home. And especially now that our homes have become our offices, there's even more call out for it, you know? So the way to do that is, well, there's two ways. You can either have a completely custom scent, which does take a little bit of time. It can take about 2 or 3 months, depending upon the stakeholders' availability to go through the process. Or we have this incredible library we can curate from, and that's a much quicker process. So a lot of our smaller businesses, they like us to curate a scent for them. We take a brief, we have an understanding, and then what they like and don't like, or what they're looking to achieve, and we curate. And then there are so many wonderful ways to diffuse the scent. We can do everything from having the scent in a little stick that can go into your computer, so you can send that to your teams. Let's say everybody's working from home and you want them to have some sort of a branded experience, or your clients, you'd like to send them a little reminder that you love them and you're thinking of them, and send them a little branded experience in a computer stick. Or we can send an office with a small space diffuser, or we can even do package scenting. So we can put little scent beads together in a pouch, and we can scent a package. So there's many different ways that businesses of all levels can participate in scent marketing. As I said before, we can make candles and reed diffusers and room sprays and all kinds of ways for even the smaller businesses to participate.
Or even, let's say, a person, or is it maybe too expensive, because then it's just one thing that should exist, developed by, and I remember those guys who develop, no, they don't develop, they create a fragrance that is just, let's say, one special smell for someone who really loves, I don't know, whatever fits to him or her. So it probably is not something for just one person, because we talk about personal branding as well.
Oh, actually, thanks for mentioning that, because of course we do the work in corporate, and then for the small businesses, it's very the bee experience, you know.
Yeah.
How people are taking it home though as well. But we have, and we do create scents for individuals. I'm actually working with a model right now. Her name is Farah, and she's a young woman, and she wanted to have her own scent. She does a lot of work with the UN as a UN ambassador, and she is passionate about women's rights and
Yeah.
about being brave and about being fearless. And,
Yeah.
so we created a scent for her. In fact, we just got the pre-production samples yesterday, and it looks stunning. And this fragrance was created for her. And it's very much around her values and what she wants to express in the world. And so that's absolutely possible. There are lots of families actually in the area where I live here in New York that want, the same way you might have a family emblem, you know, emblem, a badge, to be about your family history. You can also have a scent that's about your family history and about your lineage. Couples getting married, they want to have a scent for their wedding that maybe is equal parts the background of the husband and the wife, and then they give that wedding. So yes, we do get involved in personal scenting as well.
What I really like is the idea to combine the online and the offline world, because I just had in mind, what about, for instance, influencers, you know, someone who is more or less a digital person, a lady who has, I don't know, 20 million, 100 million of followers, but they haven't touched them. They haven't smelled her. They don't know about anything except that she can type good things and that they are following her. But if she could develop, let's say, her own scent and sending it to their fans, to their followers. So what about that? It's a great idea to build up, you know, a personal brand that is so strong and recognizable. Plus, it should be remembered, even they are, let's say, more digital, but you know, in the real world, I can smell her. Oh, I'm so happy. I have something from her on my desk, on my clothes. I don't know, you know. What about that?
Yes, and we've done a fair bit of that as well. And it is a wonderful way for an influencer who's spent a great deal of time building their following and working it every day to not only reach out further in a more sensory way to their followers, but also to, again, create a revenue stream. And sometimes other influencers, they'll do it because it's a revenue stream for their business, but they'll do it also in part as a charitable give back to their favorite cause. So excellent idea, and all possible.
So if it works for you are working for big companies, I know that the hotels you are working for, and if it's possible for people. So in between, I still see our major target group, the family business. So when it works for them, would you say that having or using their own scent as a marketing strategy, would that raise the brand attractiveness of a company?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you're focusing on family businesses, because as you know, we are a family business. I inherited this company from my late husband, and I've built it up over time. So I'm a huge believer of the power of the family business. And, you know, again, not only can it reinforce the perception of the brand. You know, sometimes in the presence of scent, even your brand seems elevated to the outsider looking in. It's also the loyalty factor, it's the revenue stream, it's the engagement with the brand. So the overall attractiveness, to use your word, of you know, the brand with scent is absolutely enhanced. It's absolutely raised. And I would really encourage everybody, if you haven't explored using scent to help to, you know, promote your business or help to really enhance your business, there's no time like the present. And particularly in this era where we are not able to be so much in person, sometimes a scent can be a wonderful calling card, a wonderful way to bring your essence into someone's space. You can't be there personally.
Absolutely. For instance, I just had in mind, what about the car industry, for instance? You know, they can't differentiate themselves by design anymore. They have nice cars, good looking, you know, it's attractive, especially here in Germany. You know, there are many cars who look pretty good. However, when it comes to the brand, they are different. Plus, if I want to differentiate my company, my brand, my product, so Scent is a great opportunity to do that, right?
Yes, it's a marvelous opportunity to differentiate. It gives you something that somebody else doesn't have, and even if someone else did have a scent, yours is going to be entirely different.
Yeah.
And if it's well
Yeah.
crafted, or for example, a company like mine does, you're going to have something so distinctive, so amazing that your guests and clients will really want to engage with it. And speaking of cars, particularly with German cars, I think Mercedes actually did build a car where you could have a scent in it. So there is some of that work happening, but it isn't broad spread. And I do think there's a great opportunity, whether it be in the car dealership or the new car manufacturing, or even rental cars. I think in rental cars, historically, when you get into a rental car, sometimes it doesn't always smell, great. It either smells of nothing or it doesn't smell great.
Yeah.
So sometimes
Yeah.
in a rental car, having a discernible, ownable branded scent could also be very interesting.
Yeah.
I've always thought about that. We haven't done any of that work yet, but I've always thought that would be great work to do.
Definitely. I just, what you just said, there are so many rental cars, or when it comes to, for instance, the cars where no one is sitting, the autonomous drivers, So if no one is sitting in there, so except, let's say, you as a guest, you don't have a driver, you just get in the car and you use it. But if you remember the car saying, oh, I do remember it was so lovely when I entered the car. It was so nice, and it wasn't. And this is another thing I had in mind when I thought about scent. In the past, we had always a challenge, that the doses, that it is too much coming out, that it smells too strong, because the doses was too high. So currently, correct me if I'm wrong, it is managed by really having what you just said, pumped little small senses that is not so annoying for myself, that I feel, no, that's lovely. I love that. I would just stay in the car, without leaving. It is so lovely. Is it the way, can the technology deliver that requirement?
Yes. I always say that the work that we do is the balance of art and science. The art is the actual either creation or curation of the scent, but equally as important is the science of diffusion. Mm-hmm. And we spend a great deal of time selecting just the right type of equipment to go into the right environment that's going to scent the right kind of space. And then there's how you calibrate the equipment.
Yeah.
To emit just the right amount of scent for the experience that you want to create. So there are some brands, which I will remain nameless, that have they're a very bold statement brand. They have very dark stores, loud music, provocative imagery. And those stores actually have a big, bold scent. And some people don't love the fact that it's so bold, but I say, the brand actually, their identity is that. So I understand why they want that. But it doesn't have to be like that. It can be really whatever suits your brand the best. And we calibrate, we time the equipment to give you just the right amount of aroma in the air at the right time. So that is what we call calibration. And all of that can be, either we can do it or we can instruct, or it's something quite easy for you to figure out yourself. These diffusers are very easy to use.
Calibration was the right expression I was looking for. Thank you, Caroline. So we are already at the end. If you have, let's say, a strong message to the audience in connection or in context to what you are doing, so what kind of message would that be?
Yes. So the final parting words that I will leave you with is that I believe in the power of scent fluence. I believe that fragrance, scent, aroma, we call it scent, has incredible influencing factors to really enhance your business and your life. And scent is ancient. Scent is ritualistic. It goes back all the hundreds of years ago to the Egyptians and beyond in religion and spirituality. Scent has always been known to be a very powerful motivator. And now, as you said earlier in our segment, people are really discovering it for the business. And we've really found wonderful ways to get just the right scents and to fuse them, deliver them in the right ways. So I would really encourage everybody to explore the, as I call it, scent fluence, the influencing power of scent in your business and your life for enrichment and enhancement.
Great final statement. So if you want to be a strong brand and you want to have a rich harvest, so you have to put the seeds into the ground and you have to water it every day. So it will grow and it will be a huge, great portion of fruits, what you can see in my background here. So it's similar with scent. Caroline, thank you very much for the great insights we got from you, and we will put your URL and your contact details in the show notes so that everyone who wants to contact you can do that. Thank you very much. Best regards to New York.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. It's a pleasure.
Ciao, Caroline. Ciao.
Ciao.